Now everyone's saying it. If you drive less, you pay less for car insurance. But how much less? A tad less. A smidge less. Around 20%-ish less? Or a whole lot less? Like 70% less for comprehensive car insurance from South Africa's hottest pay-per-K insurer, Chili from King Price. We're big into less. Like 70% less. Visit kingprice.co.za for a quote.
Hi and welcome everybody to Let's Talk Automotive. I'm Vishnu.
And I'm Peter.
And we're here today with the new, improved, upgraded and bigger.
Is this the all-new Toyota Prado? The all-new?
All new. Okay, we have a bigger grille for the housewife intimidation factor. Can you see it? It looks so nice in its blue color. I have upgrades to show you.
Okay.
Headlights have changed with these wingy thingies that sort of flipping across this to improve aerodynamics.
So this flicks the airflow so it doesn't make wind noise on
Thank you. There's
big
even
side
smaller
mirrors.
ones.
Yeah.
What? And look at this lovely color. So what else has changed?
Well, I'm trying to figure this out. You said to me this was the all-new Toyota Prado.
It is, but look how pretty it is.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I'm looking for the all-new Prado, and what I'm seeing is the old Prado.
There's all new inside stuff, which we'll get into once we're driving.
Okay,
but
all right.
The light config.
Okay. I will show you something over here, and we've got little vortex generators on the side over here, which appeals to me in terms of the little detail in terms of the aerodynamics.
Also the roof spoiler is there. And yeah, pretty much this lovely color.
The color does stand out.
It's dynamic. I mean,
so there is an introduction of new colors for sure.
Intimidation factor. And it announces that you've arrived.
Okay, but you got to convince me on this car. So let's take it for a drive.
And let's go through it.
Okay, Vish. You've been a very busy boy. You've just come from a launch and now you are in the Toyota Prado, the 2.8.
Yes, the VXL, the luxury version. You can tell it's luxury because we've got this wooden veneer here to
nice
remind
touch.
us that we've got a bit of a luxurious feel. But you know Prados, Peter, I don't.
Well, let me qualify that. My brother used to have a Prado, and so every time I go visit him in Cape Town, my enduring memory of this vehicle was this cooler box over here. And because my brother loves me, he used to come and pick me up with this cooler box filled with beers. And let me just point out that I was the passenger in the equation.
Okay, yeah, let's just clear those those things up.
But what are the competitors to the Prado? It's a bigger vehicle, so
yes.
What is this up against?
Well, I think that's a good question. So let's just go quickly through the brands, right? The BMWs, it's super luxury. So your X5s, which is the same size category, Audi Q7, we know those don't sell. And the Mercedes GLEs, it's super luxury. So now you're looking at 400 to 500 grand more. So let's take a notch down here. At 1.2, what is its direct competitor?
Well, remember we drove an A-Class for 1.2 million, so that puts it in perspective for me.
Yeah, so which brings me back to the features around them or what they've improved with this vehicle. Now we do have a touchscreen, and I know what you're going to say with the kind of LEDs, touchscreens, the kind of crazy tech we've had in other vehicles, then you've still got to relate to price. It's functional from a point of practicality, and I'm being good cop here because this vehicle's impressed me. It's impressed me because its sheer road presence is undeniable. When people see you pulling up, and I mean, trust me, in Pretoria, you're the envy of everybody. You know, it's the evolution of certain cultures where you start with a single cab Raider Hilux, you evolve, and now you know you've arrived when your wife's driving one of these and you've got a VX Land Cruiser. Maybe correct me.
Okay, let me throw something else out there as well. This shape fundamentally has not changed for too long a period of time. It's almost the same as the Porsche 911. You know, it's retained its same shape. You know, sometimes people battle to actually differentiate between a brand new 911 and an older one. You know, the Prado's guilty of that too, because this is the new Prado, but ultimately there's not much different other than a bit of a scoop in the bonnet and a few subtle changes on the lights.
Wider grille. Okay, I hear you. I still differ. Because I think that they've done more, for Toyota, they've done more than enough. Because if you look at the brand appeal, again, It sells itself.
But this shape's got to last another 8 to 10 years.
Why do you say that? With the model changes now, I mean, certain big brands, luxury brands, are changing models every 2 years.
Facelifts, but not whole models.
Yeah, agreed. So you're thinking even with the facelift, there's not much you're going to change on this.
This to me is a facelift. You cannot sell me that this is the brand new, all new Toyota Prado. This to me is a generous facelift.
Okay, but here's the thing. It's got the new 2.8 GD6 engine in, which is upgraded to 150 kilowatts.
Okay, fair enough.
So you can physically feel the power difference between it. There's a lot of electronic aids to make this more off-road capable. We've got MTS.
Yeah, so MTS, you got your, so that's a multiple terrain.
Yes, select. You've got the crawl function, which allows you for the rock climbing, and this is not dealing with, anyway.
Okay, well, let's talk about the diff locks that we got on here,
Yes.
because this is where it does start to impress me. So you've not only got a rear diff lock, but you've got a center diff lock. And I'll tell you something, there's very little you can't traverse with those two. Yes, you can get a front diff lock, but I mean,
that's G63 at 4 million.
Then you're really at serious, all the Land Cruiser bucky. Then you've got air suspension, I presume, on this
Yes.
on this model.
They called it, I actually need to look at it because I had to write it. It's called KDSS, Kinetic Dynamic Suspension System, which firms up the suspension as it detects terrain and stuff. So the technology is there. Maybe it's not visible in the form of a LED screen showing you all of this graphically.
Yeah.
Then I was curious, the second start.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, I don't think it's got a second engine for backup. So we revealed that it's basically it allows you to start from second gear.
Okay, but what is the multi-terrain functionality then? Because a lot of other vehicles, 4x4 vehicles or four-wheel drive vehicles with multi-terrain, part of the mapping is depending on what terrain you've set at, it will initially try and pull the vehicle off in second gear.
Second gear, correct.
It's almost a bit of a
Overkill
button that. Plus you've got paddle shift, you can select second
Yeah,
gear.
I think that's very interesting. So you'll run into manual and you can just go to second. So I guess, you know what it is? It reminds me of like this morning in our launch in the Mercedes. We've got functionality on the steering wheel to do everything. You've got a touch screen to do exactly the same thing. You've got a mouse pad to do everything, and you've got voice activation. So if you want overkill, this is not that bad. It's only two options.
No, fair enough, but I've got to say, I'm sorry to be negative auntie here, but either I need glasses or this screen is fuzzy.
No, I think you need glasses. No, I'm kidding.
It's not very high definition. Right?
Yeah, unless there's a light switch to turn it up. But look, Peter, the thing is, for me, looking at this market, I can't fault this vehicle. The fuel consumption, its stability, they've improved it from the previous model.
Look,
That
I
can
mean,
show.
it's a very comfortable vehicle. We're going over some serious speed bumps here and a pretty, I nearly swore here, but a pretty dodgy road.
Yeah.
And it's uber comfortable. It's nice and quiet. Look, we haven't gone on the freeway, so I can't tell whether the wind noise is going to be a factor. But it's comfortable. I love the space. It is big. But Vish, we're talking 1.2 million rand here. Eh?
Okay, but Peter, let's put it into perspective, please. And I said this to one of my friends in the other vehicle that we're in the process of purchasing, is that certain brands since COVID have gone up by 27%. Put that into perspective. So 20%. So if this started at 800 grand, 20% on that would already take it over 1 million. So what are you getting nowadays? If you look at certain vehicles, I mean, once you actually price stuff, I mean, even the new TI, which we were at the launch the other day, the BM, that's coming in at 700k and it's a GTI competitor.
Yeah.
So what's the new Golf 8 going to come in? 800, 850? So I think a baseline now versus back in the day is $1 million. If you're entering luxury market or 4x4 market, you got to start at a bar. The Mustang is probably the last of the supercars that we're going to have for just over $1 million. Once the new ones come in at the new prices, I don't even know where they're going to sit.
Yeah, no, true story. Okay, getting back to the cluster.
Yes.
It looks like you have a tire that's lost pressure.
Yeah, so that was an interesting one. When it shows it, it's actually the spare tire
Oh,
that
wow.
is on low pressure. That's pretty cool.
Okay, so they've got a spare tire pressure monitor.
A spare tire pressure monitor. Say that 3 times quickly. So have I convinced you yet?
I'm in two minds, actually, Vish. I agree that the vehicle does represent proper value for money, I suppose, at the end of the day. It is a Toyota, and that counts bags in terms of resale value, appeal, all those good things. Yeah, so, I mean, I wouldn't say no to this car.
But I see you sort of teetering on the brink of no. I don't have you a yes, we can vote yet.
Well, I tell you what, you offer me a decent discount, we're in.
Oh, no problem. We'll phone them. So, okay, let's come to ratings then. Since I haven't been very convincing of you.
Okay, so I'm going to start off and again, I'll justify, you know, we talk about the segments that the vehicles play in. Is this the best vehicle in its segment? Well, we can debate that. I tell you where I'm going to be critical of it is that I do feel there's still a lot of legacy in terms of old technology that's still being applied to a 2021 model that is an all-new model. And on that basis, I'm going to give it a score of 6 out of 10.
Okay, all right, so I haven't been that good at then. Okay, for me, just from the sheer drivability of it, what it represents, also just across the value chain as to what else is out there, and we did discuss it, I would go at a 9 out of 10 for this.
All right, so there you go. Once again, we don't agree at all, which is a good thing because then you get a balanced view.
Balancing view.
All right, so that's it from Vish and myself on Let's Talk Automotive, and we will see you next week.